Y'all give me 1 second. I don't know if anybody in the chat. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me come out of this. Y'all give me 1 second. Give me a few seconds, please. Hold on. Let me come out of this. Other thing. All right. Okay. Get out of there. Yeah, 843 Gullah News. Yes, it's going to cover the naming system that continues in the diaspora. It's going to cover, we're going to get into East Africa, South Africa, and West Africa. We're going to get deep into a lot of things. Peace, Sister Kayla. Peace, Sister Lisa. And also 843 Gullah News. That's Darius. Darius, hey, man, give me a call, man, when this show ends, man. I've been wanting to call you, man. I don't know how your schedule is. I want to holler at you something, man. I need you to help me with something, man, with my DNA results. Well, I want to ask you something about it anyway. But I'll holler at you later on with that. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to pull something up here real quick, and then I'll jump into the presentation. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I think y'all gonna enjoy the presentation today. It's very informative. Went back and changed some stuff. I ain't had time to go back and uh re-review everything because I made some changes and added a few things, and I was gonna go back and reread everything and make sure all my slides was in place. But been trying to cook for the family today and just got through. Y'all give me hold on one more second. We'll get started. Y'all help me share the show if y'all don't mind. Also, to some people y'all think that may be interested, um, and interested in this information or interested in what I gotta say, uh, share it with them. Yep. All right. I'm gonna post this real quick. All right. Okay, now you don't want to tell me. Share. Hold on. That's what I should have hit a while ago. Look at this dumbass. This here don't want to. Hold on. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming. Can y'all just please bear with me for 60 seconds? This thing here is messing up. I say I don't know why it won't let me share now. Let's see. And it's probably gonna share it to my damn page. Let's see, share. See, it's not doing for some reason. Okay, and maybe I need to do it. And that's probably why. Y'all hold on. This is why it's doing it. I see what I figured out what it was. Can't do it from my iPad. Alright. Let's see, share. Alright, there you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, is all. Let's get into it, y'all. Let me go back here. We'll jump into it. All right, let's get into it. It looks like I'm gonna be here by myself. All right, first I want to say ETM Hotep, Dua Aku, Dua Netcha, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba Ilakba, Majuba Iba Ilakba, Majuba Iba Egungun, Majuba Iba Egungun, Egungun Kiki Egungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors because, again, without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to give honor and praises to the true and living elders who I consider elders or meet the qualifications in African cultures as being elders. So peace and blessings to those true and living elders out there. They know who they are. Um, Ren E. Kofi Piesie. My name is Kofi Piesie. Welcome back to the Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. Um, Black African Power family. Again, peace to those in the chat. Peace to those that may be joining later on. Peace to those that may be looking in the archives later on today or sometime this week or whenever you get some chance. Um, I'm finna share my screen. And again, y'all, share the show to people you think that may like and may be interested in this information. I think this is going to be a good presentation, very informative presentation uh, as well. Let me share my screen. Uh, all right. So again, the name of this presentation. Hold on, let me look on here and make sure that I'm screen. Make sure I'm not. Can y'all hear me clear, Sister Lisa, Sister Kayla? Can y'all hear me clear out there? I spoke to everybody else in the chat that's in here right now. Peace to Chavis, Sheldy, Makaru. Peace, peace. I'll get started when somebody let me know I'm good. Okay, I'm good. All right. All right. The name of this presentation again is called Naming Customs of Southeast and West Africa by myself, brother Kofi Piesie, Afra Karini, Kofi Piesie. All right. Ah, man, I did this. Everybody know I always put a disclaimer out there before um I get started, and I didn't put the darn disclaimer in here. Again, I went back, took some stuff out of the previous presentation that I had already did, added some more information, updated a little bit more information, and forgot to put my normally slides that I always normally put in here with my disclaimer. People know my disclaimer. That I'm merely a student sharing information. And this information is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research or have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation, et cetera, et cetera. I kind of know it by hand because I say it so much. Um, but and also my saying, as I learn, we all learn. I forgot to put that slide in there as well. For people to follow me know that that is my saying. Know that I believe in that saying. As we learn, we all learn. I think that as we continue to expand our minds and we continue to read information, I think we should share the information, especially if it's the correct information and you did the proper methodology. In researching and understanding and grasping the information, passing it down to someone that you may that may need the information. I think that information is it's very powerful. So as I learn, we all learn. So as I continue to learn things, I'm going to continue to share uh, the information with the family because I am learning just like everyone else is learning. I don't confess to be a master teacher. I don't confess to be a scholar. That's why I always put a disclaimer out there, and I don't have it up there because again I forgot to put it back in here. I am a student, just like everyone else. I am a student. you know what I'm saying, who is still learning. Also, my other saying for 2019 is I think that it's very important as well, especially for African Americans uh, here, or the diaspora Africans in the United States, South Africa, and the Caribbeans. We have been denied our culture, our traditions, and our heritage. So my saying for 2019 is let's get this culture. Let's get this culture. Let's get our culture. Let's get our culture back. Let's get our traditions back. Let's get our way of life back. Let's begin to start to speak in those native tongues that our ancestors spoke in. Let's get familiar with the geographical locations of Africa. Let's get familiar with the natural resources that is on that geographical location that we are calling Africa to this current day. So again, the name of this presentation is called Naming Customs of Southeast and West Africa. All right. Now, African religion is expressed in the names of people and places. African religion or African spirituality or African traditional religion or the way of the ancestors, however you want to coin it. Um, African is expression in the names of people and places. Most African names of people and places have symbolic meanings that are religious in nature. Names are chosen for their special meanings, power, and sources. Names are often uh, substantially and historically narrative or woven around them. Newborns are named on the basic of specific situations surrounding their birth, and the names may be related to the feelings of the parents, time of the birth, descriptions of the child, or his or her background. Naming of a child is taken seriously. Naming of a child is taken seriously. And I'm reiterating that twice because I know we're naming our children, especially the African is naming their children, and the children name doesn't have any type of meaning behind it at all. We naming the baby Concrete, we're naming the baby uh, Portia, we're naming the baby Ferrari, we're naming the baby Oak Tree. We we it just David the children all kind of stuff. Naming the children Foot, we're naming the children um tatalicious. We just doing all kind of crazy. But naming a child is taken seriously because it is believed that the name can make a mark on a person. Naming a child is taken seriously because it is believed that that a name can make a mark on a person. In several African societies, life cycles are essentially dotted with elaborate rituals. One can most conspicuous transitional rites of that lubricated this rite through life. It is the naming ritual. An individual name represents an essential component of human spiritual anatomy and can serve as an indicator of destiny. Without a name, an individual would not exist. Without a name, an individual would not exist. Without a name, an individual would not exist. A name is edified emblem given a child at birth by parents. The Yoruba phrase Oruku Loro Ni literally translate as name affects behavior. Name affects behavior. Name affects behavior and symbolizes the belief that the naming given to a child can influence his or her behavior. Symbolizing the belief that the name given to the child can influence his or her behavior. The Akan philosophical expression Onupe Bagi Digna Wamigi Hiwi Ara, which means man was born to make a good name above all things. Man or woman was born to make a good name above all things. We hear that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Make a good name for yourself, son. Make a good name for yourself, daughter. We hear those things a lot. Indicated that the name becomes a religious mark of identification and a sign of honor and respect. All right. African societies follow a similar naming ritual patterns through time. although there are variations in the procedures and the emphasis demanding on the ethnic and the cultural background. Generally, a child is named within 7 to 9 days. Generally, a child is named within 7 or 9 days of birth. Among the Yoruba and the Akan, the people and a child is usually named on the 8th day. At the naming ritual, a child receives 2 and 30 names depending on the occasion of the birth circumstance. So, in African culture, we know most of us we already have the child name picked out, and we name the child um, after the child is born. But in African cultures, the child is not named until 7 to 9 days. But you have, and these are in most African culture, but you have others that may name that may be 7 to 9, maybe 7 to 14 days before a child is before a child is named. And a child in certain cultures can have 2 to 3 to up to 30 different names. And we're going to get into why the child may have 2 up to 30 different names. And we're going to get into different cultures who name their babies on between 7 to 9 days or 7 and 14 days, and the reason why, uh, and etc. We're going to get into that. In many societies, the naming ritual is innate during the early hours of the day. The 7th or the 8th day marks the transition and the complete departure from the spirit world to the world of the living. The 7th or the 8th day marks the transition and a complete departure from the spirit world because in African cultures, majority of the African cultures, they believe that the ancestors are coming back. So we know when the ancestors transition, those are looking at the presentation ought to be up to speed with what I'm talking about because we went over and we discussed and I presented on what is an African funeral and a burial. And then I went on to do a follow-up presentation behind that was the ancestors, those who were elders, the elders who have become deceased and has transitioned into the spiritual world or the ancestral world or the igungun. So now the ancestors are returning. So they saying that the ancestors are returning. The spirits are the spirit. They are returning from the spiritual world into the living world. So they're saying in most African cultures that between 7 to 8 days, and I'm saying not all, but at most, in some 7 or 8 days mark the transition of a complete departure from the spirit world to the world of the living. It is a rite usually carried out within the family compound and participants is limited, although not strictly restricted to relatives and the extended family. An elder or a renowned personality in the family conducts a ritual in the presence of both maternal and paternal families related seated outside in the family compound. The scope of the ritual enacts varies from the one's localities to another. We're going to get into the rituals of the naming, the things that take place, things that transpire, the things that they use, and uh, in the naming ceremony. For instance, a libation in the forms of drinking is poured in venerating the invoking the blessings of the family ancestors on behalf of the newborn baby. And we talked about the libations with on the ancestors, doing the ancestor rite. Those that may even I talked about it in the funerals. On the burial rites, they pour libations to the ancestors. They also pour libations to the ancestors to wake the ancestors up because the ancestors still, even though they have departed and and deceased and have transitioned, they still have work to do. That's why I keep reiterating that in most African cultures, there's no such thing as rest in peace. The elder has a role that he has to fulfill, and once that elder transitions and becomes an ancestor, he still has a role that he has to fulfill. So he still or she still have work that she has to do. So they pour libations to activate the ancestors and to get counseling and advice and help from the ancestors. We also talked about the libations can also be poured for the lesser deities or the deity. and not just the ancestor or the elder who has transitioned. We also talked about the different drinks. Milk can be poured, water can be poured, wine can be poured, strong alcohol can be poured. These are different libations that I talked about, and each one I talked about real quick on why they use wine, why they use milk, why they use certain things. Certain libations are used for certain things that they are asking for the ancestors or trying to build a closer or reestablish the bond with the deceased elder. All right, sometimes food and ancestors. I ain't hollering them. I think I'm hollering. Uh, I'm hollering. behalf of the newborn baby, this symbolic present. Hold on. Drinks is poured to venerate and evoke the blessings of the family's ancestors on behalf of the newborn baby. This symbolic presentation of drinks or sometimes food to the ancestors is a token of fellowship, hospitality, and respect. Libations are symbolic symbols of families' continuance in contact with the coinciding with the announcements and the blessings of the child's name. The child is instructed symbolically to develop good moral values. It says the child is instructed symbolically to develop good moral values, not bad values, but good moral values, and to take up his or her individual and societal responsibilities. The naming rituals is also accompanied by the presentations of money and gifts, which symbolically represents objects with which the commence the life journey. East Africa communities have different ways of naming children. While some systems are fixed, others are rather flexible. These flexibilities allow some communities to capture certain natural and social phenomenons and the encoding it in their culture through names. I read this again. This flexibility allows some communities to capture certain neutral or social phenomenons and encode it in their culture through names. Thus, names constitute East African communities. Folklores is as much as they exhibit the artistic characteristics or a current observation, vivid imagination, and ingenuous expressions. Now, let's get more into the naming ceremonies and how many days in each African group it takes to name a newborn child. Igbo society. Naming ceremonies may take place 4 days after a child's birth. So with the Igbo, the society naming ceremony takes place 4 days after the child is born. So you have in most cultures 7 to 9 days, you have 7 to 14 days, you have 4 to 10 days in a ceremony. So the Igbo culture had they named their child after the fourth day it is born. And again, the child does not exist until it receives a name. But more often, the name ceremonies take place on the 8th day, depending on the health of the mother and child. Paternal grandmothers officiate the Igbo ceremonies. You can see the Igbo grandmother down here officiating with the newborn baby. The ceremony begins with an ancestor recognition and divination. So, in most naming ceremonies, and we're going to get into the whole intricacies of what involved in the naming ceremony. So, one part is the divination, where they go to a diviner, high priest, and they get the purpose because and the name has to be in most cultures is tied with the child's destiny and the child's purpose. So every time you speak its name, it knows its destiny and it knows its purpose. So this is one of the reasons behind the divination. They already know what the child's purpose is. But um, um, they have a leg up with that far as when we talk about divination. A lot of us is still trying to figure out, especially the diaspora Africa, is trying to figure out what is our purpose, what is our destiny. And a lot of us figure out what our purpose and what our destiny is, but we never fulfill it because we are scared to fulfill our purpose and our destiny. The things mostly that we are good at, we don't have to, we don't have to really think about, and it comes easy, it comes naturally to us, and etc. Following by the name giving of plants and the live plants to represent life. So the ceremony begins with the ancestors' recognition and the divination, followed by the names given and planting of a life plant to represent life and survival. Next, the participant pours wine libations to share a child's name with the ancestors. And most of the time, when you're pouring a wine libation, it is to reestablish or to get a closer bond with your ancestors. So they're pouring a wine libation to the child's name. And they are also activating or reawakening the ancestors so the ancestors can give recognition to the child or to the ancestor who is returning. Represents life survival. The participant pours wine libation to share a child's name with the ancestor. After a usual breaking of the cola nuts and prayers, the ceremony, which traditionally lasts an entire day, ends with the family procession. The Igbo tends to name based of observation. And while I'm speaking about the Igbo, also go tune in when you get a chance. If you missed the Odenani presentation, I did a whole presentation on the Igbo way of life, the Odenani. They're traditional, not the things that they have converted into where we hear the Igbos or Hebrews, or we hear the Igbos or the Jews, or we hear Igbos or Christians. We're talking about their traditional religion, their traditional ATR, their traditional way of life before they was encountered by these foreign people and converted into these things. So go check out the Odinani presentation about the Igbo way of life. But back, the Igbo tends to name basis of the observation. The Igbo to name based on observation, birthmarks, or some other remarkable characteristics. For example, the Agbanani, the image of his father. Igbo also commonly names children for the market day on which they were born. Niwiki, Adolfo, or Oriki of the names the Igbo gives to the child. The father or the family elder gives the name, gives the name to the community, and they will use it most often. The Edo people of Benin. The Edo people usually name on the seventh day following the child's birth. So we have the Igbo people who particularly name their child on the fourth day, but most likely on the eighth day. It just all depends on the health of the father and the mother. Now you have the Edo people of Benin, who is still we're in West Africa. The Edo people, they usually name their children on the seventh day. And again, the child does not exist until the child receives its name or its names, because they can receive up to 3 to 30 different names. We're going to get into that a little later in the presentation. The Edo people usually name on the seventh day following the child's birth. The community gather as early as 10 a.m. One of the slides says, particularly, most of the naming ceremonies take place in the morning and the afternoon. In most, I'm not saying all, but in most, a.m. and begins to pray for, among other things. The child helps prosperity and long life. These are the things that they pray for the child: health, prosperity, and long life. Uncle Giles and Ned. The main portion of the naming ceremony, which females centered, tends to take around 7 p.m. The same day, the ceremony generally involves the following elements. Cola nuts. We know that Igbo also does the same thing. Cola nuts, where they break the cola nuts and pass the cola nuts around in the community, those that are involved in the naming ceremony. So you have cola nuts. And don't say stones, it says cola nuts. Don't say stones, it says cola nuts. Welcoming prayer. They use they use the cola nuts to welcome the prayers when they're praying for the child to have long life, health, and prosperity. Gin or other strong hot drinks protecting the child from becoming an alcohol. Palm wine, libation. So particularly when they're doing their naming ceremony, they use they use a palm wine. Like again, I said in libations, when you're doing certain things to the ancestors, the lesser deities or the deities, you can pour wine, other strong alcohol, milk or water. Native chalk mixed with salt symbolizes happiness. Honey, sugar, and bitter cola nuts symbolize duality of life, bitter and sweet quality. Alligator pepper involves energy in the child's speech. Coconuts represents mystery, secrets, and the unknown. Yams, a staple food of the Edo people. Palm oil symbolizes emelet for life problems. Water represents the fluidity and having no enemies. The ceremony generally involves the I mean, well, shoot, I don't know why I should have put. I supposed to have been up here at the top again. I went back and read, and I got to stop doing that too, especially working at night. I'm sleepy and certain things, but that should have been at the top. The ceremony generally involves the following elements. So these are the elements that is involved in the Edo naming ceremony, and a lot of these things you are going to see is going to be redundant and a lot of the other ethnic groups. These are some of the elements that they use during the naming ceremony. So again, with the Igbo people, they usually name the child on the fourth day, but some use name the child on the eighth day. It all depends on the health of the mother and the father, particularly the mother, uh, after the child's birth. And with the Edo people that's in Benin, uh, they they normally name their child on the seventh day, and these are some of the things that they use. All right, the senior male breaks down the cola nuts and passes the pieces around for all to share, as I said a while ago. The senior female then asks the mother, "What would you like to call the child on the set? Call the child 7 times." We still talking about the Edo people in Benin. In the first 6 instances, the mother says something the other woman rejects. So particularly the elder woman, the senior woman is doing this part of the ceremony. And she is asking the Edo woman who gave birth, uh, uh, now they are at the seventh day, they are naming the child. So now the elderly woman or the elder is asking, the female elder is asking, what are you going to call the child? And she asks this to the mother 7 times. And she rejects it every time. We're going to get into that. The woman reject. For example, the female elder, and we ought to do the same thing. When you call when you ask your elder should ask, what are you calling the baby? When they say Tata Licious, she should damn sure say, no, we're not gonna call the damn baby Tata Licious. When they talk about we're gonna name the baby Concrete because we like way Concrete look, we should damn sure reject that. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm acting up. But we will call this child Worm. This is an example. This is just an example. The mother is telling the elder who is um taking part in this part of the ceremony. We will call this child Worm. The woman. We will not call this child Worm. Music and song follows the first instances. However, on the seventh instance, the father whispers the actual name into the wife's ear. So after the seventh time, the father whispers the name into his wife's ear. Because again, it says his wife. It said his wife, because again, in most cultures, when you talk about procreation, you're talking about marriage. I'm gonna say that again. In African culture, most of African culture, majority of them, when you talk about procreation, you are talking about marriage. Marriage and procreation go hand in hand. And for those that want more information, go check out the marriage right, where it goes into detail. Where I feel like that is the most important rites of passage in African culture is the marriage right, the unification of two families, the procreation, bringing forth life. Um, but the mother publicly announced the child's name. Then the woman affirms the name and prayer for the child to have a long life. They invite the rest of the participants to offer prayers as well. In the spirit of the collective, the community gives the guest an opportunity to name the child. So now, as okay, we'll get back in there. Traditionally, guests puts a gift or a monetary donation of any amount in a bowl before stating the name they want to give to the child. After each person states, hold on, y'all. Chat. All right. Scratching my damn floor. Uh, participant. Wait. Invite. Okay, with monetary donations of any amount in a bowl before stating the name they wants to give to the child. After each person states his, her or his name, the other participant responds with Akhagu Dai Isi. May he lives long. A feast filled with food and drink follows. The Ishan. The Ishan people of Nigeria. The Ishan people, the family paternal elder throws an infant into the air and calls out its name. If they accept the name, the attendants call out approval. So with the Ishan people of Nigeria, the elder, which will be the paternal elder. With the Edo people, you had a female, the mother elder. Now with the Ishan people in Nigeria, you have the paternal elder who is taking part in the naming ceremony. So now he is throwing the infant into the air and calls out the name. If they accept the name, attendants call and out an approval. He will live long with this name. Otherwise, the elder tries again. The elder passes the child around to allow the community to confirm the community pet name on the child. So you can see here in this culture as well, again, in most African culture, you can receive up to 3 to 30 different names. So you can see here that even with the Edo people, the uh, the community also has a part in naming the child or giving the child another name. So you can get a name from the elder, you can get a name from the community, and you can get a name from your parents. You can receive up to 3 to 30 different names. And again, your name is tied to your purpose and your destiny. The Igara people of Nigeria. So this is another a group in Nigeria. The Agara is the Agara society. A new baby does not leave the house until after a naming ceremony. The eldest man in the community traditionally performs the naming ceremonies in early mornings or at sunset. The baby's mother hands the baby to the elder woman who passes the child to the eldest man, who begins the ceremony by dipping his finger into the water and putting a bit of water in the mouth of the baby. This symbolizes the first food of life. And again, water resembles life. The other element, the other elements the elders put in the baby's mouth are the following, and this is according to the Agara Society of the Agara people in Nigeria. Honey, sweetness of life. Honey represents the sweetness of life. Palm oil, you're going to see palm oil a lot. We use palm oil, palm wine a lot in African culture, and cola nuts. A palm oil represents the neutralizing poison. Cola nuts, the success following trials. Salt, no one eats salt and speaks bad of it. Dry fish. Fish doesn't drown in water. The child will not drown in life. Alligator pepper. So the child will multiply. Wine, to involve spirits that might disturb the child during the course of his or her life. Bitter cola nuts, the child will grow to like the cola plant. Bitter at first and then sweet. Brother Ben, I said the same thing. He tried a natural cola nut and it's bitter, and then at the end it becomes sweet. And we know life can be sweet, and we know life can be bitter at times. So these are some of the things and the symbolic meaning behind those things. And you can see that the Edo people as well as the Yoruba people, as well as the Igbo people, as well as the Igara people. They use the certain elements that they use. As you're going to see redundant in different cultures using some of the same thing. They use the palm oil, cola nuts, uh, libations, wine, certain wine, wine for cola nuts and etc. I mean, wine for libations and etc. After the tasting of elements, the elders whisper the name of the child in the baby's ear, and then says publicly. So the agara, the mother, the family passes to the elder woman. The elder woman passes to the elder man, and then um, you do the certain things, and then the elder whisper the name uh, into the baby's ear, or whisper the name into the baby's ear, and then he says it publicly. The elder man then passes the child to the elder woman, who then turns and gives the child back to the mother. The Igara performing name ceremony at the very stage of life, not just for the newborn. So the elder here in this community is naming the child and then giving the child back to its mother and publicly announcing it to the community. So now the child has a name, therefore the child does exist, and the people can recognize the child by its name, and the name is also tied to its purpose and its destiny. Yoruba. The Yoruba typically name babies from the seventh to the ninth day. Some of the Yoruba culture believe they must name babies in the first 7 to 9 days after the birth, or a baby will not outlive the parents of the same sex. And also, while I'm speaking, I should have said this a while ago. I just thought about it. But again, you have 7 to 9 days in certain African culture. You have 4 to 9, or 4 to 10, or 4 to 14 days to name your child after its birth. And some cultures, between the 7 and 9th day, on the 7th day, the female is named, and then on the 9th day, the male is named. So it's in certain cultures on the 7th day. You don't if you it the child, the girl and the boy is not named. If you have a boy, then particularly he will be named on the 9th day. If you have a girl, she will be named on the 7th day. The girl will be named before the boy. That's in some cultures. The parents in the same 9th day after birth, or the babies will not outlive the parents of the same sex. So the historical Yoruba names on the 9th day, and the name females on the 7th day, as I just said. They the name sets of twins on the 8th day. So in the Yoruba culture, on the 7th day, the female will be named. On the 9th day, the uh, male will be named. And if there are twins, like you see there with the elder woman in the picture right there, if there are twins, then the twins will be named on the 8th day. All right. Yoruba naming ceremonies begin in the early mornings and the afternoon. As I stated, with most of them, you will see, particularly during these ceremonies, they are tended to be in the morning and the early afternoons. But you have some that go on, a continuation over into the evening, and some that may go continuation over for a few days. The entire family is presented and dressed in white. The day of the ceremony is usually the family's first day. The mother and child are away from the home since the birth of the child. To begin, the mother hands the baby to the elder person, usually a woman who washes the baby in herbs. The community members sprinkle water toward the ceiling and apply some to the baby. So you can see here the the different groups that we're ethnic groups we're talking about. The things that they're using, and we keep seeing water come up, because again, water represents life. And you see that in these ceremonies, the elders are the one that uh, um, is the head participant in these ceremonies. The community members sprinkle water toward the ceiling and apply some to the baby. The community hopes the child cries when the water touches it, as only living things can produce noise on their own. The ceremony participant prays and makes offers. Then they call the names of the ancestors. The next community uh, members pour water of rum and light candles for the ancestor spirit. And some small amounts, the ritual leaders put the following elements in the child's mouth. And you keep seeing the ancestors. They're calling the name of the ancestors. They pouring libations to the ancestors. They're seeking advice from the ancestors. They seeking recognition for the child from the ancestors. Again, once you be elder becomes an ancestor, he still has work to do. It's no such thing as resting in peace. You still have duties that you have to fulfill. All right. These are some of the elements. Water, which represents purity. Red peppers, the force of nature. Salt, wisdom and intelligence. Oil, power and health. Honey, happiness, liquor, wealth, and prosperity. Cola nuts, good fortune. And even they're using some of the same things in a different culture, but some of them symbolically means different things. You know, the cola nut may mean a different thing to another ethnic group somewhere else. And etc. Honey may represents something different somewhere else. Salt somewhere else as well. Participants suggest praise names until the parents select one. Someone whispers a select name into the child's ear and then dips the child finger into the water and touches the child finger to his or her forehead. Often the community member takes a reading. There you go, reading. We're talking about a divination, doing the naming ceremony, the divination to determine which ancestor is coming back, which character, which personality is coming back. And with this ancestor returning, what is he coming back to do? What is his destiny? What is his purpose that he has to fulfill as he or she is returning? So the community member takes a reading to reveal the child character and its destiny. Again, the name is tied to your destiny and your purpose. That's why when a lot of them, when you speak the child name, it remembers what its purpose and its destiny is, so it can fulfill it. The community members separately puts a touch of salt, honey, palm oil, and water in the child's mouth. Then all of the people presents holds the baby and promise to protect her or him. Dancing and singing begins in this ceremony. Yoruba frequently works on three name system. They work on three name systems. The first name is the personal name, the Oruko. The second name is the praise name, the Oriki, and which reflects the hopes for the child. The third names connect the child to its family and its community, the Ora. So this in the Yoruba culture, you're gonna in the naming ceremony, you're receiving three names. The first name is your personal name, the Oruku. Your second name is your praise name, the Oriki. And your third name is the Ori, which is your family or your community name, or your name which is connected to your family. In Benin, the Goni people in Benin, the Goni name females children 7 days after birth. So they name their children 7 days after its birth, and their male children 9 days after its birth. So they follow in how the Yoruba people does theirs. So well, yes. So the females, the male children 9 days after its birth. So the 7 day for the female, 9 days for the male. Like the Akan and the U, the Gon children born with the birthday names, for example, Sidi, born on Sunday. Gona gives children other names reference the circumstances surrounding the birth. And the name expresses emotions such as joy or sorrow. Ophoyon, welcome, born at the right time. Bidon, joy of birth or example. So they use with the Gon of Benin, they similarity names, they got their different names. They may name you after a certain day. The day that you was born on, similar to the Akan and the U people in Ghana, and or they may name you according to some type of emotion, some type of emotional expression that you may have. And again, joy or sorrow. So the Afoyon, welcome or born at the right time. The child may be born at the right time. That's that what that means. The Bodon, joy of birth, this emotional expression that you may have. The goon aunts give several names to the goon children, but each name giver has to purchase the name given with a gift of money. If the grandmother is alive, she selects the name, she selects the name the child will be called. If not, then the mother chooses the name. So the auntie in this society has um deals with also, or has her hand in naming the child as well. The Dagara people of Bugana Fason. Dagara, according to Some in 1989, the Dagaras not only decided on names as the community, but also works to make the name matches the child purpose. If the Dagara people a name potentially construed as negative, the true purpose and intentions are stated. The first time the people offer a name to the community, they presented the name in some sacred way. Friends and family stand in a circle, and one individual is selected to hold the elements representing each direction. Some pours libation, they go pouring libation again, and then calls on to the ancestors. The parents usually walk into the center of the circle holding the infant. If the infant is a girl, the mother hands the baby to the mother-in-law. If a boy, the father hands it to the father. The grandparents then presents the baby to the four directions while asking for blessings. Then the grandparents whisper the baby's new name into her or his ear 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 males, four for females. So he whispers in the baby's ear its name 3 times for the male, 4 times for the male. And we see this with I think it was the Edu or the Agara. I think it was the Igagara people. Next, the name is said out loud the same number of times. As with most rituals, this one ends with a feast of food. Each participant has prepared and brought food to share. This is the Dagara people. Cameroon, the Bassa people in the Cameroon. East Cameroon Bassa people, and you have some that are in Liberia as well, the Bassa people. People name male children on the ninth day. So the Bassa name their children on the ninth day and female children on the seventh day. Same as the Yoruba, same as the Yoruba in Nigeria, same as uh who were those other people? The Gona people in Benin. The ninth day of the female children on the seventh day among the Bassa. The father usually names the child. The Bassa naming system revolves around naming reference to a psychological state of the parents before doing childbirth and naming speaking to the relationships between the family and the community. So the naming system, it says, revolves around the reference of the psychology of the state. So the naming process may take place according to the psychology or the state of the parents in before and doing the childbirth. So wow. So if the mother may be hysterical, the child may be named hysterical or whatever the name speaking into the relationships between the family and the community. Pagwo, disappointed. Jarudu, faithful. Sakne, anxiety. Anxious. Cote d'Ivory, the beta people name children when the child first utters a sound. A council of elders includes the child's father. So the beta people does not name their children until the children first utter a sound. The name and names the child. The mother influences the choice of the name, but does not participate in the group decision. Paternal and maternal parents give names to the child, but the Betty use the paternal name. Betty or Betty name generally comes from animals, abstract sources. Then there are names directly related to the experience of the events. Logo, God, Bile, Buffalo, Belize, Wild Bear, Zagbo, Scandals, Shameful Events. Dread Pin, what is that? Dripimba. I shall not forget. Now let's get into the meanings and the meanings of wow. I might have really stopped doing this at night. Now let's get into the meanings. Basically, I'm saying let's get into the meaning and the reasons for the names. The Magara of Western Kenya. In this community, children are named either according to the circumstances surrounding their birth or according to the names of their clans. Generally speaking, good people will be named after their death, but people will try to forget the names of a person who was considered bad during a lifetime. Example: the Magali names of their names and their meanings are given below. Examples of the Magara names and their meanings are given below. A child who is born at night may be called Vakudu, meaning of night. A child born during the time of famine is usually called Azala. A child born outside the house is called Shavaluma, meaning wild. A child born during the corn harvest time is called Kadomun, meaning maize. A child who is only one in the home is called Madawa. The child born when locusts are threatened the country is called Aziji, meaning of the locust. The first twins is usually called Malunji. A child born during planting time is called Vatawa. The Basok of Western Kenya. The natural season of the agriculturist community provides an important reservoir of naming in several Eastern African communities. Among the the Bajasu, if I'm pronouncing that right, males and female children born and famine are named uh, Watasala or Nazala, respectively after Izala, meaning hunger. Similar, the males and female children born during a drought are named Nasa Nasamiyu or Simiyu after Simiyu, meaning drought. A boy born in the rainy season is named Wafula, and a girl name is Nafula. A girl born during the time of sowing may be called uh, Nakhu Mitsu. During the weeding time, Nakisi, or during the plow time, Nilima. These are the names that are surrounding, because these are mostly agricultural communities. Some names among the Basu have significant meanings. The firstborn is called the Bakuna. So again, you can be named different names or have multiple names. Bakuna means the first to give pain to the woman. So if you gave pain, the firstborn uh, that gave pain to his mother will be called ba, Bakuki, Bakuki, meaning the firstborn giving pain to the woman. The name is not used publicly. The last born boy or girl has a pet name, Mutua, meaning the one who close to the path. Kuluba is the name given to a baby boy who follows the death of another child. Laluba is the earth. And since the earth has swallowed the other child, the next newborn is therefore given the name Kuluba. Wipu Ku no, Wipu Hula is the name given to a baby boy if he is the only one in the family. Nabasu Nabasiu is the name given to the bastard of either sex. Other names describe beauty. Matiini, meaning well proportioned. It is the name given to the beautiful girl. Naluhidi, meaning slender. It is in other names given to attractive girls. The Kikuyu or the Gikukuyu in central Kenya. The Kikuyu is a formatical way of naming children, one basic of their extended family relations. The name given to a child depends on the sex and the birth position. The formula shows below a fixed and therefore a child name is known before he or she is even born. Even the ninth child is a boy, he will be named after the father's second brother. If the father had only one brother, then the boy will be given the name that the father mother would give her third son if she had one. In this case, the boy would be named after the father's grandfather's first brother. The twins are named either on the mother side or the father side, depending on their position and sex. For example, if a male twin or firstborn, the first will be named after the father's father and the second after the father's firstborn. If a child, for example, the third son dies and another son is born, the son after the third name option exists. So you see here the position of the sex. First male, father's father. Position of the sex. The first female, the father's mother. So you will be named after the father's mother. The second male will be named after the mother's father. The second male will be named after the mother's mother. The third male, the father's first brother. The third female, the father's first sister. The fourth female will be named after the mother's firstborn. The first female, the mother's first sister. If a child is born outside marriage and the man responsible refuse marrying the girl, a child is named after its relations from the mother's side, according to the above formula. If a woman later marries, it means that her parents or relations will be named before those of the husband, and the one covenant with the Kikuyu name custom will know that the children were born outside of wedlock. The luau of southern western Kenya. Among the luau, there are traditional names of children based on the time of birth and the sex. Generally, names starting with the letter O refers to the male of those starting with A refer to females. A child born in the early morning is named Omade and or Ikinye. Uh, I think Emike, I know she's Lou. I think her name has a Kinye in it. Yeah. One born in the mid morning is called Iyondo or Iyagodo. So again, the naming starting with the letter O refers to the male, and those an A starting with the female. So you see the particularly the names of the male start with an O and the female start with an A. One born is broad daylight is calling Ochinji or Ichinji for the female. A child born in the evening is named Old Harimodo or Ohai Modo. One born at night is the Atino or Atino, while one born in midnight is named Ororo or Iworo. Other luau names corresponds to a place where one is born. One born by the roadside is Oyo or Ayo for the female. One born in the bush is named Olum or Elum for the female. Twins are a Pio or a Dio or a Pio or a Dongo, depending on whether they are boys or girls. Naming systems in East Africa portrays the diversity of African cultures and richness of its folklores. Naming remains a fairly stable category in African oral tradition. Although East Africans were forced to take European names as marks of Christianity during colonialism, European names have never achieved meanings in the naming systems. African names continue to carry lineage, tribal, and cultural meaning. The remaining integrate systems of Africa oral traditions. Events surrounding the birth among several ethnic groups, picking out names can influence by positive and negative circumstances the family finds themselves in around the time of the child's birth. Often such names are complete sentences. The Oyadile, joy has come home. It is a unisex name for the baby whose birth brought happiness to the Yoruba parents in Nigeria. So if you bring joy to your parents, then this would be one of the names. Again, this naming can be uh, surrounding around the influence of the positive or the negative circumstances around the family. The Ati Togo Kumbo, I'm pronouncing that wrong, crown slash wealth has come back home. It is a unisex name for the Yoruba naming often gives to the child born abroad. The Ajuje, born in the rubbish heap. It is the Hassa name given to the baby after those born before it fails to survive. It is believed that giving the child a terrible name will deceive evil spirits into thinking the child is not loved as a result and allow it to live. So, according to the Hassa, then they give their children terrible names so that it would deceive the evil spirits in thinking that they do not love their own child. The Kekon, the Kegon Kekon, the K, I'm trying to get it right. The Kego Mot, so Pum, so comforts are giving the babies born shortly after a death, a tragedy of the Sesotho or the Khoiso family in South Africa. So the Kemo Moto so Pumso means comfort. And again, excuse me for mispronouncing the words, because I know I tear the words up, but the word means comfort. Kip Tauna Tip Ta Nue are often given, and again, excuse me for the mispronunciation, often given to babies. I know people take doesn't take that kindly, but just because I mispronounce words, it doesn't do not pronunciate it right does not make me not know exactly what it means. We mispronounce words in English all the time, but we know what it means. Uh, are often given to babies whose mothers may have suffered extreme difficulties during childbirth among the Caucan ethnic groups in Kenya. The Lindy we have waited. It is in Zulu, often given to the baby girls a long line of boys. So this name is given in the Zulu culture to a long line of boys. Okay, emotional warnings. Again, the names can be tied behind the family's emotion or emotional state at this time. So emotional warning. Some names, especially in Zimbabwe and Nigeria, reflects the mood of circumstances of the family at the time of birth. Some of them serves as warning and reboots. Naomi means misfortune. Maidi asks the question, "What do you want?" Mayara tells someone, "You have been humble." Ya Naso means bring the family together. Order of birth. Many African cultures, there are no need for someone to explain whether they are the eldest or the youngest of their siblings. This is because their names can reveal that much. This is especially true to twins. So the Ugandan boys are a man called the Kakura or the Wasawa, who will likely be an elder twin. The younger male twin is usually called Kato. This is the name specially reserved for the twins. So this is for the Uganda people in East Africa. But we see this also in Ghana, and we see this also in Benin. That you would know how old I am according to my name, or you will know the day that I was born on. My name is Kofi, and it is a Ghana name, and also my great grandparents was Ghanese, so I am was 100% Ghanese. So I am which I am Ghanese. So Kofi means born on Friday. So by my name, you will automatically know, okay, well, you were born on Friday. Pi side, the firstborn, so you will know that I'm the eldest. Oh, okay, well, you the eldest. I know you were born on Friday, and you are the firstborn. You are the eldest. You are the eldest child. All right. The Caucan in Kenya refers to the firstborn as Yatra, the first to open the way, and the lastborn Tawet, meaning last. In the Yoruba call, the first twin Tawo, taste the world, and the second Kahindi came after. In Cameroon, the Baliki culture, the child who follows directly after twins is given names such as Kenfek, Kenni, or Kenmaji, while the parents and twins are given a special name of Magni, mother of the twins, and Tagni, father of twins. And the Magni used to have special places in the society, just like twins. Moreover, babies born breech are also given a particular name. I ain't even try to pronounce that. But this name, if I was named that, then you know that Um, I was a breech baby to show how difficult the delivery had been. They born names among the Ghanese, as I spoke, and in Ivory, the ethnic groups like the Akan, the Ga, the U, the Nazimi. A name is automatically assigned based on the day the child is born. The day name corresponds to the day of the weeks. Someone is born, and some by difficulty. Everybody has one, though the name may not necessarily appeal in on official documents. So I just gave a little calendar uh, over here, and again, like I said, you see Friday. So if you was born on Friday, you would be called Kofi. And if you was the firstborn, you would be called Piesie. So Kofi Piesie would be your name. Born on Friday, firstborn. Monday, Kojo, male, Odawa, female. This is we're talking about naming after days according to the Akan and the U culture. Today, the Kawabi. Tuesday, the Kawabi male, Abine female. Wednesday, if he was born on Wednesday, if he was a male, you will be called Kawuk. I mean Kawaku, and or in the Ivory, you will be called the Koaku, and female, you will be called uh, uh, Ikawu, Ikawu, if they're pronouncing that right. Thursday, if you was born on Thursday, you will be, if male, you will be called Ya. On Ivy, you will be called Yao. Uh, Ya, Ya, female, if you was born on Thursday. Friday, again, that's my name, Kofi. So if you were male, you will be called Kofi. If you was born on Friday, for a female, you will be called Ifa. And the unisex name for both is called Kafu. And I'm pronouncing that wrong, so again, excuse me for the mispronunciation. Saturday, if you was born, you will be called Kwame. You will be a male. In Ivy, you was called Kwame, and Ame for the female if you was born on Saturday. Sunday, Akwisi, male, Akusi, female if you was born on Sunday. First base names across the continent. Several local names have religious links among the Igbo, the Yoruba ethnic groups in Nigeria, and the names that starts or ends with Chi, the Igbo. We know Chi is the Igbo name, or Chukwu is the Igbo name for the deity, or Aluwe, and Alua, Yoruba has some kinds of reference to God. Uh, Olusko, what is that? Olusegun means God conquered. Yoruba, Nigeria. Halamadari means the power of Mary, Ethiopian name. The Ma Kafue means I will praise God. U ethnic groups in Togo, Ghana, and Benin. So you will have some type of name that is connected to whatever your deity name in that geographical location or ethnic group or clan. Day of night. Among some groups of Eastern and Southern Africa, certain names are selected depending on the time and the days or seasons a child is born. Kibet means day and Kiblaka means night. This is the Cajun game. Mambua Wabua means rainy season for boys and girls, Kamba in Kenya. Yangwa means hungry or sometimes famine in the hospital, which we spoke about in a previous slide. Meet the ancestors. Respect elders of the family may be dead, but they continue to live on through their grandchildren. Parents often name babies after senior members and the clans, whether dead or alive. But it is considered disrespectful to casually shout or call out the name of the senior family member that has been passed to a child. So instead, it is common to hear child affectionately called Oma, grandma, or Opa, grandpa, in Southern Africa. Similar in Senegal, a child who is named after a grandfather tends to bear the grandfather's nickname as well. So a baby boy often ends up being called whatever that name I ain't finna try to pronounce. Old man or papa, pappy or papa. Rude nicknames. The Somalian has a unique system. Most people have three names. And again, in some African cultures, you have up to 3 to 30 different names. Somalia has a unique system. Most people have three names. The one that were given, as well as the name of the three fathers and grandfathers, and same as the Sudan. But many also nicknames which are so common they can find their way onto official ID cards. These nicknames often pick on the negative physical traits of the bearer. If he is a male, some common nickname for men includes Lagara, limpy, Koyine, handicap, Lugai, one leg, or Gene, missing tooth. uh, These are my references here: Encyclopedia African Religion by Molufe Kante Ashante, African Folklores and Encyclopedia by Philip Peake, African uh, uh, and Morthemy, and I'm pronouncing that wrong, and Ethnopragmatic and Morphological Study of Personal Names in the Akan and Some African Societies by Samuel uh, Gayas Agbe, uh, AfricanLegend.com, African Name and Traditions, fricknames.com, category name slash ceremony. These are my references. Um, I hope this presentation was very informative. I hope you get a better understanding of what partakes in the naming ceremony, why they name certain children by certain names, which it may be evolved around a day, it may be around the famine going on, or certain situations going on in the community. It may be around trying to keep evil spirits away. It may be a certain emotion that a parent may evoke. It may be a name that the elders, through divination, uh, uh, give, which is tied to the destiny in the community. Why they use the child is born or given a name on these certain days in certain cultures: 7 to 9 days, 4 to 9 days, 4 to 10 days, 4 to 14 days, or 7 to 14 days, and etc. The name is also tied to your destiny and your purpose, uh, and etc. So again, I hope this presentation was very informative. I hope someone got something out of this presentation, learned something from these different cultures in South Africa, East Africa, and East Africa, according to the naming and the naming ceremonies and rituals, and the symbolatry behind the ceremonies, with the different elements that mostly all use, specifically cola nuts, palm wine, palm oil, pouring libations to the ancestors, getting recognition from the ancestors, and etc. I'm gonna look in the chat and see if I got any questions. Again, peace to those in the chat. Again, peace to Sister Lisa, Sister Kayla, 8430 Gullah News, Chavish, Shelda Makaru, um, Brother T'Challa Bangara, uh, Brother Sutak, uh, Queen Nubia, um, um, Mac G, peace, peace, peace. My brother Eni Haret, Sean Calfani, he just touching back down. He's been in San Diego. He'll be with us this evening, and I'll touch on what's going on this evening. Mario Foster, peace. Miss LJ Crump, peace, peace, peace. My sister, she's simply unique, peace, sis. My brother Zane, Black African Power to you also, brother Zane. Everything is everything. Peace, peace, brother true historian. He's saying shalom, shalom, brother true historian. Brother Saneb. Hey, brother Saneb, if you still on here, man, inbox me, man. Inbox me. I would like to invite you to the show. If you still on, I'm finna talk about the show that's coming on. And brother true historian. If y'all got some time. Um, Peace, peace, peace to y'all. Peace to Angie Monroe, if I'm pronouncing the name right. Peace, 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 peace. Appreciate y'all tuning in and supporting. Um, um, we have a show this evening on Kofi Piesie TV. If you missed the presentation, which was a short presentation on yesterday, it was a follow-up. It was part 3 to how white folks got so rich, as I break down how they use white supremacy, uh, lies, tricks, and etc. in order for them to obtain wealth and power. So I did part 3 last night, and it was short, and we had a brief discussion after the short presentation. So check that out. But we'll be back on Kofi Piesie TV this afternoon at 6 p.m. for a powerful discussion. We had an open discussion the other week, open discussion about the black family, the state of the black family, and we opened the panel up to people that wanted to come in. And we're going to do the same thing again today, but we're going to, the name of the show is called Entertainment versus Education. And hold on, let me make sure I get the name right. All right. Entertainment versus education. Do we need to separate the two? And this is a discussion that is well needed as well. Entertainment versus education. Do we need to separate the two? So we'll be back at 6 p.m. on Kofi Piesie TV. It's going to be open up to the panel. I may present a few little slides, definitions, and we're going to go into the open discussion. We're going to discuss entertainment, education. Do we need to separate the two? Which is more important, education or entertainment? More important, why we're in a situation the black community gravitate more to entertainment than education. But we'll get into all of that at 6 p.m. on Kofi Piesie TV. I hope that we're able to get some people to join the panel in a discussion. So, if Brother Sunel, if you want to join the panel, please let me know, inbox me so I can shoot you the link. Let me know now, or let me know uh, before the show start. Brother True Historian, if you want to join the panel, yes, you can join the panel as well. And anybody else that's looking at the show now and maybe looking at the show when we go live at 6 p.m., we're going to have myself, Vasa Nicolo Gullah, Satepara Mary Uman, Ini Haret Sean Calfani, T'Challa Bangara, um, myself are going to be on the panel. I think that's okay. I think it's Satepara, Sutek, Vasa, Sean, myself, T'Challa. Yeah, 6. We're already going to have 6 on the panel, so we'll have 4 more slots available. So we'll have 6 already on the panel, and anybody else that want to join the panel, join the panel. And don't be scared to join the panel. We had an open discussion, and I know a lot of other people on platforms do open discussion. A lot of people don't want to join. Don't be scared. This one we had, the state addressing the state of the black family. We only had Sister Kayla that came on, but we had people in the chat that was commenting, but I wish they would have joined the panel as well. You know what I'm saying? In the bill, you know what I'm saying, offering your thoughts. So I hope we have some more females on the panel as well with us, because we need that female perspective as well. Again, the presentation is called Education. Entertainment versus education. Do we need to separate the two? So that is at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Do anybody? I'm trying to see if nobody got any. Maybe people learn about African culture through entertainment. Peace, Kayla. Learning the names of African countries through the song. You're welcome. Not saying they would be considered ancestral. The name is important. And African drums do Brooklyn griots. I'm missing. I guess somebody asked a question. The true historian and answer. Um, I'm trying to see what the question was. Yes, we're going to talk about that too. Entertainment. What is entertainment? You know what I'm saying? And yes, we learn things. If the griots, the griots are entertainers as well as historians, as well as musicians. You know what I'm saying? So they use entertainment when we deal with the masquerades and certain cultures and other things. They you could say they were the first perform. They was the first people to do performance arts. They told story. through entertainment. They told history of their culture through entertainment. So entertainment. So we're going to get into which one is more important, and we're going to get into the differences of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Versus the entertainment that we doing today to the entertainment that we did in our culture. So we'll get into all of that on the show. That's why it is called Educate Entertainment. I mean, entertainment versus education. Do we need to separate the two? That is a question. Do we need to separate the two now, or do we need to keep the two in hand? Is entertainment destroying the minds of our people? Now, we'll get into all of that on the show. Again, it's going to be a powerful, powerful uh, conversation. So, tune in. If you got some inputs, you got some say so, please join the panel. All right. Sessu Ma'ani Meta Nature. Please go subscribe to that channel. I am a member of the Sessu Ma'ani Meta Nature. We are a group of like-minded individuals who are aspiring to be true scribes. We are studying the language, which is called the Rani Kimid, and the writing script, which is called the Sesh Meta Nature, which you may know as the hieroglyphs. Also, go and check us out on Facebook. It is also Seshu Ma'ani Meta Nature. Also, go to our website www.seshumaanimetanature.com if you want to enroll in the future classes to learn the Sesh Meta Nature, or you may learn the session metadata and want to enroll in the grammar class later on, you can enroll there. The textbooks for the beginner course is on there. You can purchase on that website, as well as MCAT penmanship book if you want to learn how to write the glyphs. You also can purchase the book, uh, the rebuttal book to Walter Williams, Had the Metadata Been Deciphered, a group that was written by a collective effort of all the members of the Seshuma Agni Metanetta surrounding the 2016 uh, debate that supposedly took place had the Metanetta been deciphered. Also, go to Kofi Piesie TV and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Please subscribe now and hit the notification bell. You do not want to miss the presentation, entertainment versus education. Do we need to separate the two that's going on today, or the previous uh, new content that we have on there. How do white folks get rich? Part one, part two, and three is up on there now, as well as the Separate Raw presentation that he did. I don't know the name of it, forgot the name of it, as well as the open discussion of on the state of the black family, as well as the Warrior King Maha Musa presentation is up on there. The new content. You can and the old content. There are over 80 some presentations on there. So Kofi Piesie, the channel that takes the black man, black woman, black man, and black child Eurocentric mind and Africanized. It is the African Netflix. So please go and subscribe. Also go to Mossi Warrior Clan channel. If you want here now, the first time on here, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We present information on this channel every Sunday and sometimes on Saturday or just sporadically or impromptu on any given day, but specifically on Sunday at 2 p.m. Between me, brother Sean, who you may know as Any Harriet Sean or Sean P, or my brother Benjamin Njai, or AKA Black Panther. Um, Also go look at our page on our like page on Facebook. Um, it is you squeeze it out. Oh, okay. It is a lot of content on there um dealing with African culture tradition. We talking in North Africa, South Africa, East Africa, and West Africa. We specialize in West Africa. We have a lot of West African content on there, and we specifically deal with West African culture because a lot of us come from West Africa. Um, but we deal with you want me to take the pills out? We deal with North Africa, South Africa, East Africa, and West Africa. Because specifically, my common ancestry go back to East Africa, Kenya, and Uganda, and my family migrated into West Africa, specifically Nigeria and which is West Africa and Pacific, okay, and Ghana, as well as Sierra Leone and Liberia. But please go and subscribe to these channels. Please support, 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 support. Please subscribe, subscribe, subscribe to these channels. I will see y'all again at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, the open discussion is called entertainment versus education. Do we need to separate the two? We have Satep and Rob, Mary Amin, Sue Tuck. We have myself, as well as Enia Red, Sean Calfunny, Vasa Nicolo Gullah, uh, and T'Challa Bangara, who's going to be on the panel. And we have four more slots for anyone that want to join the panel. Hopefully, Brother True Historian can give his input, can come on. Brother Sanel maybe can join the panel. Maybe we can get Sister Kyla and someone else or anyone else that may want to join the panel in this discussion and give your input in this discussion as well. I want to say ETM Hotep. I mean, Shimim Hotep. Shimim Hotep means to depart in peace or leave in peace. I also want to say Black African Power, and we out of here, family.
How do you think your ancestors got these? You think they paid a fair price? Or did they take it, but they took everything else?
History is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. It is also a compass that people use to find themselves on the map of human geography. History tells of people where they have been, what they have been, where they are, and what they are.
Like a warrior, walk like a warrior, walk like a warrior, walk like a warrior. I ain't talking about no gangster. I ain't talking about no gangster. I'm hollering at the soldier, revolutionary culture. Bang on out.
Oh, Darius, if you on here, man, if you still on here before I shut the show off, man, inbox me, man. Your availability, man. I want to get with you on something. I want to show something, man, and you give me some understanding on it, man. So inbox me, man, and give me a time where I can give you a call later on this evening after the other show, man. But again, peace, family. We out.